Despite being allowed to compete in more events this week, Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva finds herself surrounded by controversy and criticism at the Beijing Olympics. A drug test in December that she failed has jeopardized Russia's gold medal in team figure skating, and a final decision on all of this could take months. William Brangham has more.
For more on this entire scandal, I am joined again by Christine Brennan from USA Today, who helped break some of this most recent story. Christine, always great to see you. I wonder if you could start at the beginning here. This young skater, who is by all accounts one of the greatest ice skaters of all time, she tests positive back in December for a banned drug. And yet, we all have been seeing her on our TV screens performing at this incredibly high level. How is it that that happened?
Well, William, that's a great question, a question the Russians will be answering, because the test was December 25th, and it is not announced until February 8th. That's just extraordinary. You would want to make sure you knew if your athletes were positive or negative for doping before you send them to the Olympics. But that's what happened. She competed and was a star in the team competition that Russia won the gold medal last week. And then this news comes out, and that all of a sudden there's no medal ceremony because everyone now is starting to investigate. This whole case goes to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's kind of like the Supreme Court for the Olympic Games. Sets up shop at every Olympics. And today, CAS ruled that she would be eligible to compete. So Kamila Valieva is then gets that opportunity to compete in the Olympics in the women's competition, which she's favored to win, as you alluded to, Tuesday and Thursday. One last little piece of news today: the International Olympic Committee comes back and says, well, if you're competing, there's not going to be a medal ceremony, which of course calls into question her eligibility and the fact that the IOC thinks it may well be the case that when all is said and done, we find out that that doping violation is enough that they would have to reorder the medals. So no medal ceremonies for her, which is highly unusual.
And as you wrote in your column today, this certainly, this whole sort of strange kabuki of where she competes, but if she medals or she wins, that we have to pretend that that's not happening until this other court rules, that this does an incredible disservice to all the other athletes who aren't in any way tainted by a drug doping scandal.
Oh, without a doubt. And of course, this Russian issue has been haunting the Olympic Games since 2014, and the IOC has never really punished the Russians, and so now it has exploded on them. Russian doping once again front and center. So the U.S. team in the team competition won the silver medal, which was a tremendous achievement. They will not be able to celebrate that on the medal stand here. That's same with Japan winning the bronze. The concern of officials who I've talked to, William, is that if they went ahead with that ceremony, Russia getting the gold, U.S. and silver, and then Japan bronze, well, when the Court of Arbitration for Sport takes this up again, which they will on the entire merits of the case, again, it gets very involved, it could well be that the Russians would lose that gold medal and the U.S. would move up to the gold. So instead of having the ceremony, the International Olympic Committee does not want to have that embarrassment. But then what happens is Nathan Chen and all of his teammates don't get a chance to be on that medal stand. And that is a real shame. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee called it devastating. But that is where we are because of Russia's misbehavior.
Can you help us understand the drug that she tested positive for, that's a banned substance? What is it, and what does it theoretically help an athlete do that gives them an unfair edge?
Yes, it's called trimetazidine, or TMZ, and it is a banned substance. It is you cannot get it in the United States. It's banned both in competition and out. It increases blood flow to the heart, and it is seen as something that can really help with endurance for the athlete and also prevent fatigue. They're supposed to treat angina and heart issues. And of course, the question would be, why would a 15-year-old need a drug for angina? And then there's the other part of this that I think is important to mention. She is 15, and there's a lot of sympathy out there for her, and the fact that, of course, now the adults in her life, her coach, and the doctors and others are going to be investigated by both the World Anti-Doping Agency and the Russian Anti-Doping Agency for this very reason. What were they doing? And if they, in fact, gave this illegal banned substance to a 15-year-old.
I noticed today that Sha'Carri Richardson, the fabulous American sprinter who was banned from the Tokyo Olympics for admittedly using marijuana after her mother died. Marijuana, my understanding is, has no performance enhancing benefits, and yet she was banned, is asking, how is this possible that this young woman is competing while I get banned for doing something that doesn't even help me?
It's a huge issue, and this is a conversation that's happening all around the world with athletes as they react so negatively to this decision allowing Valieva to continue to compete. The one certain point here would be that the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, with Richardson, followed the rules. It was heartbreaking to them, but they followed the rules. What's going on with Valieva? The Russians basically aren't following the rules. They just decided, hey, we're going to let her skate. Most of these countries would be sending the athlete home in shame. Not Russia. They are trumpeting her and again using the 15-year-old for their purposes, which is shameful and truly awful to see. But that's Russia, and that's why they get in trouble. I think really you can safely say, William, the worst state-sponsored doping since the East Germans of 50 or 60 years ago. And yet here is Russia, it looks, at least for right now, getting away with it again.
Christine Brennan of USA Today, thank you so much for your time and for your journalism.
Thank you, William.